to the reset button. My name is Reset Patrick, of course. Welcome to the game room. I'm finally back, and I actually have a pulse. Was very sick for quite some time. We've had a wild 2024 so far, with illnesses and conventions and all sorts of wackiness in between. It just goes on and on. But the good news is, here in the game room, I'm not alone fighting all of these terrible things in 2024. I've got some backup. I've got Mr. Johnny Chase right over there.
Hey, he lives.
I live. The rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated. But the one thing we do have to say this week, I'm so sorry to say, everybody, Liz is not with us. She is not. She's out enjoying herself at a convention. Now, if you ask me,
she's out
what?
Go
ahead. Do you know?
I was gonna say, yeah, she's out at Katsucon
Okay.
in DC. Actually, at the Gaylord, the home of MagFest.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the second. Yeah, it's their second biggest convention of the year. So like shortly after MagFest is done, then they just go straight to Katsucon, which I believe is like primarily anime focused. Could be wrong, but
I think so too. A lot of the posts that she's been making have all been anime related, so I think so. I'm glad you knew, because I was sitting here going, "Well, don't ask me, which convention this is, because I'm gonna have to lie." I think at some point Liz actually wants to call in and say hi to everybody from the con floor, so we'll get in with that in just a little bit. But we've got a lot going on for you tonight with the show. By the way, see you there, chat. How's it going, everybody? But a lot is happening. First off, as I said, what we're going to do right here at the beginning, I'm showing my hat right now. I'm showing my hat, and as you could see, for the people watching live, or if you watch this later on YouTube, it is covered in cat hair. This is Mittens approved right here.
ooh.
This is her favorite hat to lay on. But it is the Screw Attack hat. This is, of course, the anniversary. Screw Attack would have had another lovely birthday if it were still with us. This, I don't think it was today. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it, Johnny?
No, I think it technically is today. It's just our good friend Tom the Iron Man had a very, very, very lengthy post on Twitter about his experiences on the website and the friendships he's made and the history he's had with it. Go follow him on @Sergeant Harvey if you want to get the full details on that. But I think he posted that right at midnight Eastern. So yeah, so I think today is the anniversary of Screw Attack being born. It would have been 18 years today if the site was still going, or if the YouTube channel technically was still going with Screw Attack style content. And it's now, obviously, we know it's Death Battle. They rebranded it. Oh God, what, 5 years ago?
5 or 6.
It's been a while.
Yeah. But
let me go get an accurate number here. Let me do some crunching of
definitely
numbers here.
needed to dive into that. Also, I just also want to say happy birthday to Ross Sewage. Oh, wait, excuse me. That I'm talking about the other podcast. They're so easy to confuse, guys. Now those clowns out of the way.
Oh, right. The group that just changed their logo, which a lot of people are like, that looks a little too much like the thing that happened in the WW2. Maybe you should do that. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Oh, I mean, we can think of, for one thing, it sprung this back to life, so good job. You did something positive. But yes, to talk about Screw Attack, I can't shy away from it. The reason why Reset Press exists is because of Screw Attack. As I've mentioned in the early days of rebooting this iteration, Screw Attack News died, so we created Reset Press and started everything that way. This podcast wouldn't exist if it weren't for Screw Attack. I wouldn't be making online media, in my opinion, if it weren't for Screw Attack, because that's where I did my internship. Screw Attack is very important to me too. Not as important as to Tom. I'll go ahead and say that, because that guy, god damn, what a patriot. If there was ever somebody to carry that flag, holy shit. Like he's more powerful than everybody combined with that. But I do appreciate that. Those were fun years. I remember just having great times with Sean, just working under not Sean Bolin, excuse me, Sean Hines.
Hines.
Sean Hines was probably one of the best managers I've ever had, and I know I've said that 1,000 times over, but I'm gonna keep saying it because it's true. Loved dealing with that guy. He was great. Everybody there was really cool. I never had any instance where I thought, man, this is just, it's a downer kind of place. I never really felt that. Never really had that vibe. Everybody was really cool. And then, of course, get down the road and we find out it was a little rotten to the core for one person, but what can we do?
No, just keep moving forward. I've been in Canada there. I've unfortunately never had a chance to actually interact with them online, but I've had like the conversation here or there with Bolin, and then Chad would pop into several chats when we were doing Gay Days for Good. When still under the umbrella of Death Battle and Rooster Teeth, whenever we would do extra life stuff. So, but man, I've had great conversations with them. So they're very chill. Those are the only interactions I've ever had with anyone outside of a random maybe like tweeter here or there.
Yeah,
and I'm still trying to scan through, trying to find out when they. I think it's been at least 6 or 7 years because I'm still going back and they're still doing top tens. Like they didn't completely nuke the YouTube channel, so there's quite a few top tens still on here.
Oh well, good. There was some good top tens and there were some really bad top tens. I guess a little bit of a Screw Attack fun fact here. I wrote a top 10. It was a really bad top 10 that I wrote. I never thought it was actually going to get made. And then it got made, and I'm pretty sure Sam is the one who did the voiceover. And he was like completely over the top with the VO because it was a bad script. And I deserved it. It was.
Do you want to say what top 10 it was?
Top 10 worst fatalities.
Ooh.
Top 10 worst fatalities because of course it was me.
It's not officially on the Death Battle YouTube channel. It's probably on like it's probably out there somewhere because I have done streams where we just had old top 10s playing, and I think it might have been on there. And are you sure Sam did the voiceover for that? Because I'm pretty sure that Craig and Nick were doing it at that time.
Was it Nick? I remember whoever did the voiceover for that.
Nick.
Whoever just did the voiceover, I remember they were like going over the top with it.
I think it might have been both of them because one of the ones was Motaro's MK Trilogy fatality where he just pops your head off and it just kept putting in different sound effects. It's like, what about this? Or this? Or this? Or this? And you can hear Craig in the background just like, just move on to the next one.
Yeah, it was... It was not...
okay, yeah, so it was 5... Yeah, it was 5 years ago where they officially rebranded it to Death Battle.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
But, you know, they had to keep evolving. It's sad that it ended, but of course it was just, you know, when you find that powder keg, that lightning in a bottle, do you go with it or do you let it go? And if you say, I'm going to let it go, you're insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
like, hey, why? I think this super thing's popular. Oh, I'm just gonna put that on the side and just keep doing what we're doing over here. You have to evolve, or you evolve, or you die.
Yeah, you absolutely evolve or die. Let's see. Yeah. Chad's saying worst fatality. Quan Chi. I would say that was number 1, right? If I wrote the damn thing, it would have been number 1.
Let me find that playlist. I'll let you know.
Because I do consider that to be the absolute worst.
Let's see. Death Battle playlist. Where's Sell the Bosses? Where's the playlist? I had the playlist saved somewhere. Or maybe I should just check my playlist here and I'll see.
Or maybe it was a different one I did. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, here
guys, it was years ago.
Oh,
It
they're in
was
chronological order, so I have to go past the Handsome Tom days, the solo days. Oh, I went too far.
Oh, speaking of which, if they ever catch it for whatever reason, shout out to the Game Heroes. Glad to have you guys back. Greatly appreciate you guys reaching out to us here and there, and I hope you're having a great time making all of the new what are they, classic game reviews. That's what they call their reviews.
Yep. Yeah, they're doing classic game reviews. Oh, number one top 10 worst Mortal Kombat fatalities was Mortal Kombat versus DC, as in the entire franchise or the entire game.
Maybe it wasn't the fatality when I wrote, because that's too clever for me, unless they just took a few of my ideas and just worked with it, because holy shit, that's funny.
The other top 10s were like
that's fucking funny.
Top 10 Mortal Kombat. Okay, there's the best fatalities, worst fatalities. There's like worst characters, best characters. Yeah, top 10 best characters, worst characters.
I'd have to sit down and watch them. I wish I had access to my email from ages ago, but then again, I mean, like, at screwattack.com doesn't exist anymore, so.
Oh, if I can just go on to a side, this is so weird that this happened at the same time. See, as how like screwattack.com doesn't exist anymore. Do you know what else doesn't exist anymore as of this week? Channelawesome.com.
Yes.
Yeah, so like if you type in channelawesome.com, it just redirects you to Doug's YouTube page.
So the old internet feud is officially over.
I mean, it's been over for a very long time.
Oh, it's officially over.
But it's officially over now.
Everything is dust in the wind. It's got to be over now.
Everyone raise your glass, you drink whatever. Congratulate Guru Larry for surviving the Channel Awesome Hunger Games. He was the only one that didn't leave because he didn't care.
He got the victory royale. How many stars is that?
That's an end of an era too.
It is, because oh my goodness. So I recall back when it was still that guy with the glasses.com. And it was like this weird little culture war going on around 2009, 2010 with Screw Attack and that guy with the glasses. It's like it was taboo. You had to like one or the other. You couldn't cross territories.
I cross territories all the time. And I was trying to play peace with everyone, just like listen. I could go like Doug and Rob and Spoonie and all them, but I could also come over here and like Craig and Ben and Chad and Brian. That's okay, right?
But you know what I mean? Like, people were taking that way too seriously. They were like having little freak out fits about it.
Especially the higher ups. I can remember conversations on the Channel Awesome side when Spoonie came to an SGC, and they're just like, "Fuck, what are you going over there? That's the enemy." He's like, "Dude, come on, just bring me out to a convention. Who cares?"
Yeah, it's so weird how things like that just spiral out of control when it's just, can't we all just agree that we're all a bunch of nerds saying nerd things, doing nerd things, paying attention to nerd things? Our third co-host is off doing nerd things. I think we have to admit that we're nerds. I think we just kind of have to at this point.
Oh, man, I was doing such a good job with the facade. No one knew.
I see the PlayStation stuff in the background. You might want to move that. Just
oh, Jesus!
Oh, right there.
And I have like 3D printed cartridges of Zelda games on my wall, and a Master Sword, and a Hylian. Oh God!
And here we go. Everything was fine, and then just this might be the last episode. It might be.
Yeah, might as well cancel it now. We're done. We're done.
Might it's just over. Be the end of it. No, as people who are catching this live can see, we're going to have a bit of a more less structured, laid back episode this go, because we don't have Liz to keep us together. She's going to catch this episode later on. She's going to yell at us, but we need that. We need to be kept in line. Look at us. We're out of shape, out of line, all over the place, out of control, and I kind of like it, to be honest. But I think we do have a topic for you. something that we're going to discuss, something that, unfortunately, I think at this point we have to discuss because the whole world is still popping off about it. And I even recently saw something on Reddit that I thought was fairly interesting that we're going to talk about is the thing that is right in the middle of it, word man. Our pets' heads are falling off. We are going to talk about pets, actually. We are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about pals. That's right. Pal World. It's out of control.
Segue.
Yeah, that was a wild ride. I hope everybody was just white knuckling the whole way through. Pal World has taken the world by storm for one way or another. If you are a diehard Pokemon fan and you're like, hey, I would like some Pokemon on PC and I kind of want to mix all these other games into it. Hey, give me a little bit of Zelda and then I want some Ark and I want all of these other games put into a blender. Can I have that? And they say, yeah, sure. You can do that. And then boom, you got your Pokemon on PC. But so many other things flying all over the place. The possibility of AI use to create them. The possibility that they ran Pokemon through AI to create them. The possibility that one of the fucking things is Totoro from My Neighbor Totoro. It has just been a wild ride. And one thing I saw just this week on Reddit that especially made me go, okay. Johnny, how much do you know about the pals in Pal World?
I played on a bit by myself. I played a little bit with Game Days. I haven't mastered the game. I haven't been playing it that much, to be honest. I've got what's going on. Like I'm actually doing a playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake before Rebirth comes out, just to kind of remember all the new story beats and all that.
Right.
Plus, I wanted to play on PS5 with all its glorious new graphics and such. But yeah, basically, like you hit the head on the nail there. That it's basically a combination of Pokemon, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, whatnot, Ark. But from what I've played, it's pretty fun. Now it is very, very janky because this game is in early access on PC, game preview on Xbox, so it's very, very, very janky. Like, you know, you'll clip through the world, it'll be hard to climb on stuff, your character's voice will just randomly change. I think, I don't know if you were in that game day where I joined in and made my character, but I made like, okay, it's, you can't recreate anything. I'm just gonna make, you know, buff anime waifu mommy with a high-pitched voice, and then all of a sudden, like when I'm mining materials, it just sounds like a Link. So she goes from like ooh to
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and I had to think about early access, whatever. But I haven't
That's one way
gotten
to
to
look
the
at it.
point where I haven't gotten to the point though where like you do like the whole capturing a whole bunch of pals to, you know, work basically an assembly line. I haven't gotten guns. I've seen people like get those big towering pals and have goddamn rocket launchers on them. I'm like, okay, I guess this is where the Ark comparison comes into play, because every time I see the cover of Ark and I see like, you know, the mech stuff on top of the T-Rexes, I was just like, damn, that's cool. And not realizing that you've got to like get to that by building and crafting. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. But when I see this in pals, I was like, okay, I kind of want to do that now. Like I actually want to, you know, get more games made or get more games done with people so that we can actually get to that progression. So I can put, because like I've told people 1,000 times, I'm such a fan of the cartoon and toy line Dino Riders from the 80s. Shocked that this did not take off into a huge money-making franchise, because what 8-year-old boy doesn't like dinosaurs with rocket launchers on their heads, or like a brontosaurus that's like a carrier that like drops like 20 soldiers off? How did this toy line fail? It's so cool.
That sounds awesome.
So cool. Like Frank Welker was the bad guy. He was like a toad, but he was doing his Dr. Claw voice.
That's
the first time I ever realized what a voice actor was. I was just like, wait, that's Dr. Claw. Why is Dr. Claw in my cartoon about time traveling spacemen and dinosaurs? Like,
that sounds amazing.
Back to Power World, like I need to get back into it with our co-hosts over on Game Days for Good, because last time we attempted it, we actually attempted a boss, and like she kicked our ass because it was like a level 15 boss with like 8,000 hit points, and I have like a level 5 pal, and I'm like, go. Oh, you're dead already. Damn it. This I got a club. Oh, 10 damage, 10 damage. I was like, I am so unprepared for this.
Right. I kind of had the same experience, honestly. I've been playing solo, and all of my pals are up to at least level 11. I think I've got a couple of the 13. So I went in there to take on the boss. I thought, oh, fuck you. I'm like double digit level. What are you going to do against me? Kick my ass is the answer. Rip my face off and show me what it looks like. My God, it was a beatdown. So I kind of still need to join other people's games, but the problem with that is they haven't tweaked it so far where you can't take your current pals into somebody else's world. You'd just be starting fresh. That sucks. So I hope they fix that in the future.
Yeah,
But-
are you playing on PC or Xbox?
Xbox, because
Okay.
I kind of had like that moral conundrum for a little bit on actually paying money for it until everything was fleshed out. And by the way, if anybody is interested in what I mean by that, you should go check out the latest video I made over on my Reset Patrick YouTube channel. That's what we call shilling, baby.
Yeah. He goes
So-
into great detail about the potential moral dilemmas of that. So yeah, definitely give it a watch.
The legal dilemmas too. And it's not just me telling you about it. I actually got clips from an actual lawyer to show you that, which is what we're going to dive into a little bit here. But one thing that I thought was especially interesting, and the reason why I was asking you if you knew what pals were what, there's a pal that is kind of small like Pikachu and has like the Thunderbolt tail and everything, and it has like Sonic the Hedgehog eyes. I cannot remember the name of it, but someone tried to make a TeePublic t-shirt of this pal character, right? And Nintendo of
Okay.
America copyright struck it. They successfully C&D'd it up. The guy, he posted it. It's in the Pal World subreddit. If anybody wants to go look at it, he showed like email proof that Nintendo of America copyright struck his shirt out of there.
What the
And so
fuck?
my question is, with something like that, is this the first blow? Is this where the war begins? Because everybody
That's
kept
so-
saying that,
That's so weird.
there's no legal groundwork for it. And I kind of said the same thing. I'm like, well, until a court comes along and says something, they kind of look unique enough to get away with it. And then this happened.
And that's so weird because like TeePublic is like the wild west of with shirts. Is like you could just throw anything on a shirt and sell it, and you might get caught, you might not. Because like I have, and like people have asked me all the time, because like I'll walk around. I bought from TeePublic. Someone had taken the TMNT2 arcade box art and just threw that on a t-shirt, and I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I went and bought it, ordered it. And then when people ask me about it, it's just like, where did you get this? I said, I got it online out of a shop. And they're just, some of them kind of knew it. They're just like, oh, yeah. I think I get it. I think I get it. So I'll go searching for it myself.
So I don't know.
But yeah, that's like a
if,
gray area. But like,
mhm.
sorry, go
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know if
Nah.
this is just Nintendo pushing the boundaries and seeing what they can legally do, or if this is like the first blow. Because looking into these, there's always been the question, well, did they take Pokemon, run them through an AI generator, and make pals? And if there's any truth to that, then yeah, there's a problem. And my video does explain that. You guys can go watch it. And you could see Legal. Definitely go check that channel out. It's a great legal channel if you want to understand some things. But he did a great job explaining why that would be a big ass conundrum. But
I always love Legal
go ahead.
too, for like when he picks apart like legal proceedings and movies and TV shows. It's like, yeah, this
Yeah.
would work in real life. I don't know if I caught the one that he did on I'm sure he's done it. He's done like the finale of Seinfeld where they like
Yes.
it was just like that 90-minute long clip show with no clip show. It was just like here's all the evidence that Jerry and friends are horrible people and they need to be locked away. Like doesn't make any sense.
Oh my
I think I
god.
go right there.
For the ones where he's like watching different things and like breaking it down and everything, go watch the episode of him where he checked out My Cousin Vinny. For anybody, if you haven't watched that one, oh, go watch it. It's so good. So good. This is going to be a me gushing for Legal Eagle episode of the podcast, I guess. But
I don't think I caught the one. It was always on my list. That I never caught the one where he reviewed the Star Trek Next Generation episode Measure of a Man, where they were going to determine Data's legal rights.
Right. Yeah.
And that was the one where they had to where Riker had to go to like the opposition, and it's just like, well, if you don't perform your duty, you're out of here. Like you're going to be expelled from Starfleet. So it's just like, oh, it's such a good episode too.
It's so heart-wrenching, but it was in terms of TV writing, that's on up there, man. That is on up there. And it's just it's I'm going to say this, what other people perceive, not my perception. It's a silly sci-fi show. And then you've got stuff like that going on. That is just powerful. But we derailed a little bit there. What was I saying? Okay.
The
Pal World
legal
with the AI.
ramifications are the Pal World and putting the pals on Teespring and Nintendo coming down on them. So
if they got ran through the AI generator, that would be a problem for two reasons. One, that's still violating copyright. If you run a Pokemon through AI and get a pal that still looks like a Pokemon, it's still copyright. Doesn't matter. If I go to an AI engine and say, I want a cartoon mouse that has shoes and wears red shorts, and it gives me Mickey, I'm fucked. I'm still in trouble. So there's that issue. And then the other issue that was pointed out on that is, if the pals were AI generated, then they can't copyright any of the pals. I mean, they can still make the game, they can still sell it, but they can never copyright the pals. You and I, we could go steal all of their stuff right now, make our own game. So that's
crazy.
Unless it's Steamboat Willie, that is correct. Steamboat Willie. But then again, if it was Steamboat Willie, red shorts wouldn't matter. Steamboat Willie's black and white.
Eve?
There we go.
Black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No color there. Not yet.
Nope.
But here's another thing that was brought to my attention, and I don't know, maybe I've never really looked into it, but one of the requirements of selling things on Steam is proof that you do have the copyright to all the assets in the game. Unless it's like something from Unreal Engine or something like that.
I don't know the legal precedent on that, because that's something that's a very gray area. It's like people could just rip assets out of anything, and it's very easy. It's the same thing on the Nintendo eShop as well, because we've seen there were games that were posted on there that just straight up had Zelda music in it. Oh, and shit. They were up there, and until Nintendo found out, they were just like, no, get it out of there. I think it's the same thing on Steam too. Steam, you could pretty much post, as long as you just got a finished game and it passes whatever certification they want. Go for it. But when someone finds out and it's like, hey, I went to the code and I found this and this and this. Oh, geez, get that out of here.
Well, that's another fun little thing I brought up in the video. You remember Silicon Knights?
Oh, yes. We know where we're going with this.
And their little implosion actually stole code from Unreal Engine and then had the fucking nerve to sue Epic. They had the nerve. I can't remember. I can't remember why they sued Epic, but they had the fucking nerve to sue Epic with full knowledge.
I think it was oh yeah, your engine doesn't work as entitled. It's well, you didn't buy the license, so you technically didn't have legal reason to do this. So destroy 2 Human, X-Men Destiny, and I forget what the third one was. Let me see if I can find that suit.
There was 2 other games they were working on that they never even got to release. It was bad. But yeah, what they did, you're pretty much there. Not only did they use it without paying license, they stole some of the code. They just straight up ripped some of the code out.
Mhm.
And that way they wanted to I guess try to not have to pay license at all, but what a stupid move.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was even against Epic Games themselves. Trying to find it here. Oh yeah, they were also trying to kickstart a spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness called Shadow of the Eternals, and that failed their Kickstarter goals.
Yeah. That company fell to just absolute garbage in a hurry. Because like the only thing they could do is just live off of old stuff, and they can't do that because Eternal Darkness, I believe, is an IP of Nintendo's. It's not that they published it; they also own the IP. They'll never
Yeah.
touch it again, but that doesn't matter. They own the IP. And then they also had the legal battle with Legacy of Kain because they were under the belief that they owned Blood Omen, and Legacy of Kain Soul Reaper couldn't be made. And they lost that too. I guess the moral of the story here is,
I was just saying, how did they think they own that? Because isn't Blood Omen and Soul Reaver both owned by Eidos and or Crystal Dynamics?
Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah,
The first game
they're not
was
Crystal Dynamics.
the first game was a joint venture.
Yeah, that first one was really weird because it was all top down, and I remember watching someone play it because they're hyped for Soul Reaver, so they went back and played Blood Omen. It's like, wait, is this in the same universe? It's like, oh yeah, this is the guy that like takes the other guy and does the thing. I don't know. I remember them fondly, but don't remember that.
That is something I remember from like years ago in the magazine era. Me reading about that, and I've always been pretty fascinated with Silicon Knights since, because they just seem to be, I don't know the best way to put it. They're the company that just wants to be killed. They keep doing stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mess. Square Legacy of Kain remake when? That's just not going to happen, and I think we all know it.
Well, we'll see how the sales of Tomb Raider Remaster go. I mean, it's been selling pretty good, and yeah, like I mean, if it sells good, and I mean it's reviewing very well, people are enjoying it. Maybe they'll go back to the well. Maybe they will re-release Soul Reaver and the Legacy of Kain Blood Omen games. I think there's like 5 of them. Because there's the 2 Soul Reavers, there's the 2 Blood Omens, and then there was a third one that combined the 2 characters.
There was a whole slew of different games. There was of course the first one was Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Then there was a Legacy of Kain 2. Then there were Soul Reaver games. And I remember it getting, like, to quote Doctor Who, getting really timey-wimey about the whole thing, and it got weird in a hurry. To the point where, like, Raziel is going back in time and fighting himself. Did he kill himself? I can't remember. It's the series gets weird.
Raziel, I think, was like betrayed by Kain. And like just like stripped of his powers, and he just turns like undead. I think that's what that is.
Yeah, that's in the first one, but he actually goes back in time and fights his human self.
Weird. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, all the vampires you see at the beginning of Soul Reaver, like right when they cast him in and everything, his vampire brethren, he goes back in time and finds out that they were a group of knights that were supposed to be fighting and keeping, the vampires back. And I think he ended up fighting like the human forms of all of them too. That's why I say it got really weird and really timey-wimey. To the point where I don't know. I would need a book, or if someone can point me to a YouTube video to explain what the hell is going on with the stories. I think that, full disclosure, I think that following the Metroid story is a little confusing. So I stand no chance with this. I'm old man. I'm sorry.
I was just seeing if one of my favorite YouTubers have done a documentary on it yet. Because I'm looking at Matt McMuscles and I'm seeing like what happened to. I swear to God, he's done all the Silicon Knight games, but I only see 2 human on here, so I don't think he's done. No, he's. I'm pretty sure he's done X-Men Destiny at some point. I can't find it there, but yeah, I thought he actually would have just done one on Silicon Knights in general.
What happened to X-Men Destiny? Well, Dennis Dyack was a moron, and then he cost everybody everything because Dennis Dyack was a moron.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I was going to say, do I have to say in my opinion? No, you can call people names. It's fine. You're allowed to do that. He was a moron. Shouldn't have done those things. Did them anyway. I guess the big thing is I didn't have another topic. It was going to be more just chilling and hanging out for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just ask, Nintendo Power, since it's a 2-man Nintendo Power trip. Did you ever get into any gaming magazines?
Oh yeah, like I had a subscription to Nintendo Power, but I got it late in the game, so most of my stuff came at the Nintendo 64 era. So, unfortunately, the quality was kind of going a little bit downhill, but there's still good moments. When I had gotten my subscription, there was also the one where like every year they would give you a new VHS tape, and the only one, and I'm looking at thrift stores all over the place to see if I can find like a physical copy of it. But I had the one where they were hyping the Nintendo 64. Someone has ripped all of those videos and put them up on YouTube if anyone wants to watch them.
Do you mean the Nintendo Ultra 64?
No, it was just the regular 64.
Oh, okay.
It was just the regular 64 at that point. But man, like looking at that old footage, they were showing off Kirby Air Ride on the 64, like early beta stuff, and like early beta footage too of Star Fox 64. But they're basically like it was like Ken Lobb and a couple other guys at Nintendo, and it was like this highly produced thing, but it's basically showing off the controller, Mario 64, Piloting 64, and Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. And then they had like little tidbits of games that were coming in the future. But the one that like, and I never knew it, like when I had the tape, I didn't know about it till later when I left it playing. They actually had like freaking Nick Fury post credits footage. So like after the credits all roll after that, and hear the announcer was like, "You still want more?" And it showed KI Gold in like one matchup, and I was just like, "What? KI Gold? Oh my god!"
Nice.
Well, I didn't say that. I was like 16 at the time, or wait, 96. How old I would have been? 13.
Yeah.
13 or 14 at the time there. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think you're giving yourself a few years there.
But I would go like to yard sales back in the day, and I would get like all the old issues too. So like I didn't have like issue number 1, unfortunately. That's long gone. I do have the last issue though. I do have the final issue of Nintendo Power sitting there on that shelf there.
Ooh.
But I got old ones there, and I didn't collect a whole lot of them, but the ones I have now, it's kind of weird because I have one where they actually talked about stuff that was being developed in Japan. I think I have the Dr. Mario issue, and they talk about Final Fantasy 2 on the Famicom and Earthbound on NES, and they just never came out. But they're just like, "Oh yeah, we're getting hyped for the next game from Square, and this quirky little RPG from Nintendo called Mother. I think they're going to change it to something else." I was like, "Wait, they're actually talking about imports here?" Because like, I never knew about the whole Final Fantasy 2 is 4 and 3 is 6 until like later on when Final Fantasy 7 came out. I was like, wait, what? I was like, 7? What happened to 4, 5, and 6?
I think there's an Angry Video Game Nerd episode about that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's awesome. Was it Kirby Air Ride? That didn't make N64, did it? Wasn't it?
No. It came out on the GameCube.
Yeah. So I was going to say that's one that just unfortunately never made it.
Yeah, that was eventually going to come out. I want to try and skim through that video if I can find it. It's not. I think it's on my favorites or my watch list.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like looking at the other games that were on there, and oh yeah, they had like the very, very earliest footage of Body Harvest before it came out. Where is that? Oh, talk about your stuff with Nintendo Power while I look up that.
You see, I'm gonna be the one kid that's gonna ruin everything for everybody here. Unfortunately, guys, I didn't get Nintendo Power when I was a kid. I got like all the other multi-platforms magazines. So I got your Electronic Gaming Monthly, I got your Game Pros, I got all those, but I just never got Nintendo Power. And I guess the thing was, and it's like the stupidest excuse, but it's just the way it is. You know, sometimes mom would have money, sometimes mom wouldn't have money. So sometimes you would go through the grocery store and you would have a magazine that would catch your eye, and you'd say, "Hey, can I have this?" Sure. But couldn't get a subscription. Same with comic books, which sucked, but is what it is. So sometimes you would get like one that still reminisces even to today because it was talking about some of the greatest stuff ever. Like I remember one, pretty sure it was a Game Pro that was talking about Super Mario RPG before it came over here.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had that issue. And you saw that CG Yoshi on the side, like, what is this?
Yeah, that's what caught my eye. That's why I wanted that magazine, that issue, because I was like, what is going on here? This doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. So it had that. I remember the article talking about, you know, you were going to have like different members of your party, and they kind of hinted that there would be like possibility of Bowser and whatnot. So it's like, oh, this is crazy. You might have Bowser in your team. Who knows? And they also weren't quite sure if the name of the game was going to be Super Mario RPG or something else like that. But it was coming over, and they predicted, I believe correctly, that it was going to be the last like major Super Nintendo release too.
Yeah, getting close to that.
So there was that, and then I remember getting one of the magazines that had Resident Evil in it, simply because that was, and I've mentioned it here before, one of the first games I can remember that actually truly like scared me. Like actually truly just rattled me. And I thought, okay, I'm too much of a bitch to actually go play the game. Because the moment it starts loading, it's like I'm slowly opening the door. I'm slowly walking down the stairs. Sorry, I'm bitching out. I'm out. Sorry. Turn the game off. Turn it off. But you can read about it. You can read about it. That's fine. So I got that, and I just poured through this huge article that they wrote up with the creator, and actually found that this guy was just making silly, quirky games beforehand. Like he was in charge of Goof Troop. That's what this guy was working on before, making stuff to terrorize people.
The SNES Goof Troop game?
Yeah. He made Goof Troop. That was his task before, you know, making sheer terror for everyone. It was, and he was talking about in the article, I remember, just how differently it was too, and he really had to think about when do you want to like put the brakes on gameplay and put, you know, the gas on fear, and how do you balance something like that, because this was one of the first games that did something like that. So I remember that being like an amazing article. Loved it. And the other thing that I really, really enjoyed when it came to getting magazines back in that day, strategy guides. Really big on those. Yeah. Of course, everybody always jokes about, you know, get the power, Nintendo Power. Well, I mean, you're going to get stuck in other games too. You ever tried Resident Evil 2 first time? Resident Evil 2 dry run? Anybody? That shit's hard.
No, like with me, we started at 3. Nemesis. We never played 2 or 1 until later on, and then even then those are like super duper casual plays. So like didn't actually get into them, unfortunately.
I think
But
even
I got like the remakes now on Game Pass. Like I can try out RE3 remake because that's out on there.
God, good luck to you. Good luck to you. The problem I had with that one, and again, if I'm being a bitch, somebody roll on in here and tell me I think I can handle it. It'll be okay. When you're running through there, like I think most people either listening to this or while you and I talk, we've played RE2 remake. We know how it goes. Like with like the zombies crawling around and everything like that. So this one, as soon as the gameplay starts, they're like up your ass right away. Zombies everywhere. But then you also have Nemesis coming out of nowhere and just fucking whiplashing you. And I kept getting just beat down and killed. I was like, dude, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I'm just getting rocked over and over. Over and over. And somebody said, well, why don't you just turn the difficulty all the way down? Well, fuck. Now, like, it's Resident Evil for babies. I could go take it to kindergarten and play it. It'll be fine. I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of a balance issue on that one. And truth be told, I didn't get Resident Evil 3 when it was the original. I wasn't really able to rent it either because Resident Evil 2 was a super smash hit. And then when 3 came out to the Blockbuster, nobody was going to let you rent that game. They always constantly rented the game.
Yeah.
I think I had a better chance of like running the same WWF game like 1,000 times over.
Oh, which one?
The one after Warzone. What was that called? Attitude?
Attitude, yeah.
Yeah. Rent that one a lot. And then let's see. God, that brings back memories too. That was just a good time for games. Playing Silent Hill. Silent Hill without any sort of strategy guide or anything like that was probably the most mind-numbing thing I think I've ever done because none of it made any sense. Dina, aka Cybercap, you're hearing this ever? I'm sorry. It didn't click for me, man. It didn't work for me.
Yes. So this is the earliest issue I own. Like I said, it's the Dr. Mario issue of Nintendo Power. On the back there, 99-cent sticker at a Value Village. Those were the days where you could get this stuff cheap. Now this would be behind a glass case, and they probably would ask $20 for it now.
See, and that's so ridiculous, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's ridiculous because and the collector talking here and telling you that something is ridiculous when you're trying to collect it.
So the first game they're talking about on here is Rare's Solar Jetman. And it looks like they've got a pretty good guide on here, which is good because I, for the life of me, have never been able to beat the second planet.
I don't think I've ever touched that.
I'm looking at this map. Holy shit, this thing's huge.
Is that part of Rare Replay?
Yes, it is on Rare Replay.
I've never touched that game.
It was an interesting title. 13 different Don't wonder I couldn't beat it. Jeez. Rare knew how to make hard ass games.
Oh, the other really cool thing that, you know, gaming magazines could do back in the day is since, you know, sit back kids, the old guys are going to tell you a thing or two about the good old days of the gaming magazines. Back in the day when you had these expensive, crazy ass consoles coming out that there was no fucking way that your mom and dad are going to buy for you, like the fucking 3DO and all this shit.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah, if you get something other than Nintendo Power, you see like the ads for all those other consoles. You're just like, holy shit. This is what rich people spend their money on?
Yeah, because, okay, so there's no way you're getting those game systems or those games. So
no way I'm getting 3DO with the Deadliest Encounter with Tia Carrere from Wayne's World. No way.
It was a good way to check out and see like what the other people were playing on their other systems because you didn't stand a chance. It was difficult to like go around town and like, are you going to go to a friend's house and check out their 3DO? Fuck no, because they don't have one either. It's just, What's going to happen? So you could check out and see if there was anything you were missing by checking out different things like that. No way I'm getting Night Trap on 3DO. That is the first way I heard about Night Trap, actually, was through a gaming magazine. Check
Flipping
that
through
out.
it here. If your mom was too cheap to take you to the movies to watch The Wizard, they're on Counselor's Corner to tell you where to find all the whistles in Mario 3.
Oh, wait, is that a guide for...
There you
Oh,
go.
how do you pronounce that? Christelis?
Yes, Christelis. Yes. It's not a guide. It's Counselor Corner. Basically, people are just asked the question. So, like, where's the town of the Amazons? What do I use to defeat the statues of Moon and Sun? Where is the Psycho Shield?
Oh, my God. Okay, I have to ask you. I just have to
Hmm.
ask you. Have you played that before?
It's something that I've had. It's something that I popped in for like a hot second. It's not
Mhm.
something that I actually committed a whole lot of time to. It's on the Switch Online, so if
Yes.
I wanted to play it, it's right there. But
It's actually quite cool. It's kind of a Zelda clone. I'm not going to say it's 100% Zelda clone, but kind of. And I think with a little bit of Nintendo power there, it could be something pretty good. Oh, and let's see. Chat. Wordman says he's beaten it. Nice.
ooh,
Can't say I have, but yeah, that's definitely a classic game that I really enjoyed. I also remember looking into some Nintendo Power magazines that other people had I did not have, but it showed a game I didn't have before. It showed Super Metroid and had a walkthrough of that I still didn't play because I was so convinced, like, I don't care how long this walkthrough is. I don't care how much of this magazine they dedicated to. Metroid sucked. I don't want to play Super Metroid. What a mistake. What a
yeah,
mistake
just
that
flipping
was.
through your. Wow, they have like this really detailed guide for Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, but only up until the castle. So basically, they just go through like all the routes to get like Grand, Sypha, or Alucard. But it's just like, oh, at this point, you're at Dracula's castle. Uh, oh, for the complete map of Dracula's castle, check the back of the poster. I don't have the poster.
Someone took the
I can't check it out.
poster.
Would you like to know what the top 10 games were for November, December 1990?
Oh, please tell me.
Okay. Number 10, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. See, nobody had a time machine to go back to 1990 and tell people to stop liking this game because some guy in Pennsylvania made a video about it.
Okay. I get that AVGN did a video about it. Okay. I get it. But let's all at least admit, while it's not a terrible game like we've been led to believe, because I've been playing it way before he made that video, it is still hard as balls. Can we all admit that?
Yes, it is hard as balls. That final pathway in the Technodrome, where it's just Spaceman, Birdman, Spaceman, Birdman, Spaceman, Birdman, will drive you nuts unless you've got a turtle that's like half
Yeah.
health. To go through that last tunnel, just to like duck underneath the Spaceman, kill the duck, Spaceman ducks, that'll straight fuck you up. Everyone's like, oh, you need the scrolls, Like, no, I got a strategy. You just duck when you see the Spaceman, let him clip through, kill the next enemy, just rinse, repeat, cast the fucking check.
Jesus, no, I thought the scrolls were necessary to even stand a chance. I think that game gets so hard at the end that it's just not fun anymore. But you're pissed off and you just want to get through it to say you did. But okay, hit me with the rest of that list. I want to hear this.
Number 9, Zelda 1.
Okay.
Number 8, Zelda 2.
Okay.
Number 7, Mario 2. Number 6,
Okay.
Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, jeez.
Number 5, Ninja Gaiden 2. Number 4, Tetris.
Odd.
Number 3, Mega Man 2.
Okay.
Number 2, Final Fantasy. And of course, number 1, Super Mario Bros. 3. I don't know what their ranking system is or who votes for this. There's like a point system, but it's all over the place. I will say, shout out to my favorite by
how did
Commando making
Go
By
ahead. Go ahead.
Commando making number 30, just cracking the charts.
Just cracking it. But it's so weird.
Mm.
Like, how did Tetris beat everything else on that list to get like number 4?
I think it's just all popularity or just like people voting in. I really don't know how this voting system works.
Well, okay, remind me, what year did you say that was?
November, December 1990.
1990. So Game Boy came out 1 year before that?
Yes, I believe so.
That's something that really drove like Tetris through the roof was the Game Boy. Because it was like, you've got this addictive puzzle game and you could take it on the go with you. This is a brand new idea, a brand new concept. So maybe that's what was driving it, because otherwise that whole thing is nonsensical and I don't even understand what's happening there.
I'm trying to find what else. Oh yeah, the now playing section. It's like what's coming up later. Street Fighter 2010.
Oh God.
I gotta make an honest attempt to try and beat that sometime.
I don't think I've
been doing this thing on game days where like I'm trying to like legit beat some NES games, like some really hard NES hard games.
Like, is it as bad as it said?
1 and 2. Which one?
Like those kind?
2010?
No. Like just games in general. Like, is it as bad as someone says? Like, is it as bad as James Rolfe says? That kind of challenge?
No. It's just that like games that are like notoriously hard. Like I just like there's some that I've done, but like I've save scummed and save scum my way through it. But like there are times where I'm just like, yeah, I want to see if I can actually beat this. And I'll try my hardest not to go and look up guides or strategies. Like with Ninja Gaiden 2, though, I definitely had to look up like someone's strategy for being one of the final bosses because like I just wasn't getting the pattern. And then once I got that, like the other 2 boss fights were like, pretty easy. But then again, it does the same exact thing as Ninja Gaiden 1. You die to the boss, you go back to you'll go back to like 7-1, but you like 7-2, which is still quite a challenge to get through. But did that with Ninja Gaiden 1, Ninja Gaiden 2, and Batman on NES. I know Street Fighter 2010 is one of those ones that is up there where it's just like, yeah, this game's like really hard. And I want to tackle that sometime.
That's Batman on NES is one that I've wanted to tackle for ages, but it seems fucking impossible to me. It seems that goddamn hard.
Guarantee you it's not. Once you figure out Joker's pattern, it's pretty good. And the thing too is like I think we've just put a lot of NES games on the NES hard list because they kicked our butts when we were younger. We didn't have we had infinite amount of time, but it's like our reflexes, I don't know, like it may have been harder. But I found that like would you realize too that like I will, for those games, like I will save state to just save my progress. It's like leaving the NES on. I mean, couldn't leave the NES on when we were younger because
I don't consider that. I don't consider that cheating or a bad thing.
No,
like
no.
I'm sorry, Mike Mateys of the world, but it's the same concept.
It's a convenience thing. Yeah, like it's me. I am just putting the game on hold. I'm not going to like power off the system and power back on. Like I will save. I would just do that save state.
Yeah. Because, back in the day when you were trying to do something like that, you'd have to leave the NES on, and your mom, you'd have to make sure that she didn't come in after dinner and be like, no, you need to turn this off. I've
known people, even like, here's a funny side. So I had a roommate, and he was dating someone, was a gamer like me. He wasn't really too much of a gamer, but she was. And then she started to stay and and pay rent. She was into Final Fantasy 12. Had a PS2 Slim, had like probably one of the better PS2s out there. Had a memory card, was saving it, but still refused to turn off the power. The internal playtime clock was getting into the 9s. And I'm like, how and I looked at her levels. I think she was like level 15 or 20. It's like, you're not like, are you not shutting off your console? She's like, no, just leaving it on. I'm like, but you have a memory card. Why? Like, why? She's like, this is just how I play. I'm like, okay. I'm surprised like the motor in the PS2 wasn't like burning out because it was constantly spinning.
I'm surprised the power supply wasn't giving out
Yeah.
because
Yeah, it was a shocker when I saw that. It was just like, so you never turn it off at all? She's like, nope. I'm like,
yeah, that's
okay.
wild. That's wild
weird.
because power supplies in game consoles are not the same as like power supply in a PC at all. They're not made for that.
No,
So that's just,
no.
what do I know if that's how you want to run it, lady? But
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. But we haven't heard back from Liz, and you know what? I didn't have anything else planned. I just wanted to make sure that we were back and that you saw our lovely faces and know that we're not giving up on this thing. It's just, unfortunately, I got sick for a little bit, and there's conventions and everything like that, but the show is going to keep rolling on. We are here. We're doing just fine, and we've got plenty more to come for 2024. Especially in, I believe, April, when we celebrate 1 year of doing this thing. Also in April, where I disappear for a little bit.
Did we really start this last April?
I think it was last April.
Oh boy, we're old.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing.
On YouTube.
When I say, yeah, we started this a year ago coming up, and also I have to disappear around that time because gotta be a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, look that up because I am pretty sure like April is when it all kicked off.
See, big announcement. Episode 1, 9 months ago.
Yeah.
The
If not April, then May.
YouTube, can you give me actual date, please? May. It was in May. May
oh,
5th.
it was in May. I'm off by 1 month.
Yeah. And
I'm
also
off by
before we go, this is just for the Twitch chat. I will put in I'm putting a link in there. If you guys want to watch that video that I was talking about earlier, the Nintendo Power video they would send out. And I think also it was like it was something for storefronts as well, to like get people informed about the Nintendo 64 before it released. But yeah, that was the VHS I got with my subscription in Nintendo Power. I'm still looking for a physical copy of that.
Oh shit! Before we go, I gotta mention one other thing because now like the promotional videos, you sparked the memory. I've got to share that really quick and see if you remember this or if you saw it before we go. Did you see the promotional VHS for Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island?
No.
Ah. Yes. Right before that game came out, Nintendo sent out promotional VHSs of like the game and just like some of the features and whatnot. And I remember that was like super, super hype. So hype, in fact, that when the game came out, again, you couldn't find copies in Blockbuster because everybody already rented them all. And then it took decades for me to get an actual copy for myself. Finally, I haven't beaten that yet. I need to. Well,
Make that a goal.
I think we could go ahead and call it there. Do you have anything else, Johnny?
No, I think we're good. I think we got this thing. We're back in the saddle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Reminiscing about Screw Attack and what the future holds. And get to dig out old Nintendo Power.
Yep. So next time we'll have Liz. She'll be back. I'm actually doing the pose. Just like there we go. See? I'm doing the pose. Just for you. God, this is a silly podcast. We're some silly people. But yeah, next time Liz will be back. We'll have much longer show, bit more structured then. And I didn't want to eat up too many topics with her being gone because, of course, we want to make sure that our killer shows have all three of us here. But I'm back. You know, I'll be doing more things. We'll be celebrating all of this 1 year anniversary in May, and I have to disappear for just a little bit in April. But we'll see you in 2 weeks. Everybody, good night.
Night.